Probably there's nothing else in the world that gives me as much anxiety as traveling and trying to figure out what camera and what equipment to take when I go to travel. Usually when we go traveling, we're driving. And I just get a massive backpack, like a 36-liter backpack or whatever. Pack it full of stuff, and I have more than I could ever need or want. Coming up here in a month or so, we're going to be flying down to Florida, going to Disney World. And that has brought me so much anxiety about what to take. Do I bring an action camera? If yes, which one do I bring? 360 camera or GoPro? Do I bring a point and shoot camera? RX100 Mark 7, ZV-1? Which one do I think I want the most if I was down there? What bag should I take? I mean, you want to take enough stuff to where you can handle pretty much any situation that might come up. But you don't want to take too much because you don't want to be carrying around just a huge bag full of equipment that you're never going to need, walking around Disney World. So all that has created a huge bit of anxiety for me. I started off just a few months ago, and I started with the ZV-E10. And it's a pretty good camera. It takes decent photos, but the video on it is just so bad. Like the rolling shutter is just absolutely terrible. And the video is just so shaky, handheld. Like I just cannot hold the camera like this and get any kind of decently steady footage. And then if you're trying to film something just kind of walking by, you're going to get rolling shutter like crazy. This camera is really good for just sitting up on a tripod like this and taking a video with. But as far as it being a vlogging camera, I'm thinking it's just, there's better options out there. Of course, they're going to cost more than this, but it's just not very good, in my opinion. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just take the XS10 again. And that's a good possibility. The only problem with the XS10 is the battery life is really bad. So you're going to have to carry extra batteries on top of batteries. I mean, the autofocus is decent enough. I think it would get me by. For the most part, it's just not very good. If you're taking photos of people, if you're just taking photos of things, I think the XS10 does a pretty good job of that. And it only has one card slot, so I think the whole time I'd be out using it and everything, I'd have a little bit of worry about card slot battery life. Have that kind of anxiety going while I was shooting. Well, then the next camera I tried after this, I was thinking about the Fuji XS10. Maybe it worked, maybe it wouldn't. Decided to try the Fuji X-H2S, and it was a great camera, absolutely great. And that's one of those cameras that, you sell off all your stuff and move into that camera. That's how good that camera is. It does everything. But for travel, for me, it's just a little bit too heavy. And again, it's one of them deals where I would have to sell off everything I had in order to have that camera. And I'm way too lazy for that. And that's something I'm not really looking to do. But the XH2, let me make this perfectly clear. The XH2 is a great camera. It has great autofocus. Everything is good about that camera. As far as traveling goes, it's just a little bit too big. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not really wanting to sell off everything in order to move strictly into Fuji. But the camera is that good. It is that good. Got to be careful, these Fuji guys. They get offended really quick. So I decided, well, maybe I can just take my full frame gear, like the 20 millimeter 1.8, it's really small and light. And also when I go traveling, I take the Tamron 28-200. It's fairly light, but that's just a little bit more than I want to take traveling with me. To me, that's just a little bit too big for me to take. I'm just afraid that I'll get down there, get frustrated with that setup, and just be like, no, I'm not taking it. I'm not carrying it around Disney, 3 or 4 days. It's just not worth it to me to have on me. So I thought, well, maybe I can take the A7 IV and put APS-C lenses on it, because you can do that with that camera, and you get about 15 megapixels, for your photos, and the video all looks perfectly good with APS-C lenses I have. And that is a viable option, and that's something that I'm still contemplating. But I'm not quite sure that that's where I want to go. Simply because when you pull out the A7 IV, you look like a professional. I mean, that is a professional camera. You pull that out and people are going to start looking at you and stuff. And that's something that I've just kind of grown wary of. Like, I personally don't like that feeling. But it's something that I still may do. But I'm kind of think I'm settling in on the FX30. And that's what I'm filming with here today. It does everything as far as the video goes. It does 4K, 60 frames per second, and the 120 frames per second 4K with just a little bit of crop, which I'm okay with that. And it does 240 frames per second in full HD, which is really one of the main reasons I want to take this camera with me. If you've never, shot a roller coaster going by, it is awesome to do in 240 frames per second. That's one of the deciding factors on which camera I'm going to take, because when I went this summer, I took some of those shots, and I think they turned out awesome. And you get to see the facial expressions of people going by, and it slows everything down. So it's really cool, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to take this camera with me, I believe. Obviously, the FX30 has really good battery life, so I can take 2 batteries with me and probably will get by just fine. It has 2 card slots, so I can put 2 cards in at the beginning of every day, and that'll more than likely get me through the whole day. I don't have to worry about battery life. I don't have to worry about card storage and stuff like that when I'm out shooting and everything. Now, the one thing that concerns me about the FX30 a little bit is the photo side of it. There hasn't been just a whole lot discussed about the photos capabilities of the FX30. And, to be honest with you, they're not that good. I wouldn't call it a great photo camera, but it does okay. It does okay. I've taken it out a few times and taken some photos up with it. You only get in single shot mode, which is, kind of a bummer, but, that's fine, for what I'm going to be doing. Again, I'm not taking it out specifically for, great photography. I don't need great photography specs. I just want to take out just a few shots, I think, like, will it take a group photo? Will it take a picture of my daughter, standing in front of this, or my wife and my daughter standing in front of that? Will it take a picture of, just, the castle, or this or that, or what, easy things, easy photo things. And I think it'll do great with that. I think that the photos are going to do good enough to get me by. And also on this, I discovered a new mode where I can hit the back of the screen to take the shot, focus and take the shot. I think most cameras have that now, but I just kind of discovered that recently. And I think that's going to work out really good. And the camera is small enough and light enough and unassuming enough that I don't think it's going to garner a lot of attention from people around me. And that's one of the main reasons that I think this camera is going to work out good. So I think I'm kind of settled in. I'm going to relax a little bit as far as what camera I take on vacation with me coming up. I think once I get absolutely 100% locked in as far as everything I'm going to take, what bag I'm going to that's a whole nother thing. What bag are you going to take? That's a whole nother ball game. That's like a whole nother set of anxiety that I got to work out. That's got my mind just in a million different spots. But hopefully I will figure that out. But I think once I get a little bit closer to time to go, which is in about another month, I get everything locked down, finally made up my mind in my head what I'm going to take, lock it down in the backpack, everything ready to go. I'll do a video of it and show you exactly what's in there. My main goal for this whole trip, as far as my photography and video stuff, I want it light, and just enough to get by. That's really what I want, because there's nothing worse in the world than getting so many miles into your day and wish you're ready to just throw your backpack in the garbage because it weighs too much. So down in the comments, why don't you leave kind of what your go-to travel kit is. What camera do you like to take? What lenses you like to take? What backpack you like to take? I'd really be interested to hear that because I'm obviously having a hard time making up my mind. I still might get the H2S. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. So let me know down in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.